Yo, what's good everybody, it's your boy Malcolm, and today we're going to be recording the first video in my new series, reviewing anime I should have watched ages ago. And today, we are going to be reviewing one of the most iconic anime ever, Deathnote. Honestly, I'm glad I finally got this off of my watch list because for years, every single time I would go live on TikTok or Twitch or talk to somebody, they would ask me something about Deathnote and I just was not able to give an answer because I had never seen it. But now that I finally got it off my roster, I could talk about it, I could interact with y'all about it, and that's why I'm doing this review. First and foremost, I want to say that I enjoyed the fuck out of this series, bro. Like, I had a lot of fun watching Deathnote. I understand why so many people love it because it genuinely is a really good series and I'm happy that I watched it. To me, the true essence of Deathnote is really a mental battle between Light and L, and I loved it. Like, to start the story off, Light was clearly bored with life. Everything was coming too easy to him. He was a prodigy, he was the top of his class, he used to be a tennis champion, like everything was just so easy for him, and bro was bored as hell. And then we got L, who has literally solved every single case he has been a part of. I'm sure he was in life getting a little bored too. So them being able to go head to head, L versus Kira, and both of them are really enjoying the battle. Light is trying to fight for his new world that he's trying to build and create, and L is trying to stop a mass murderer. But the essence of it, they both having fun, bro. Like, they're both enjoying the fuck out of this shit because they've never really been challenged before. They've never had a real challenge before this. And I like watching those gymnastics and watching them truly like try to go up against each other. That shit is awesome. The best part of what makes watching L and Light go up against each other is the fact that Light is the protagonist and L is the antagonist of the story. But L is the one that's a little bit more good and Light is the one that's a little bit more bad. And that's a real interesting perspective when you're watching it because I kind of wanted them both to win. Like, it's very rare that I'm watching an anime or movie or whatever type of story and I'm rooting for both parties at the exact same time. I honestly did want to see both of them win. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think that Light is a true villain because all of his intentions were positive. He genuinely did want to create a better world. Granted, a lot of that came through selfishness and ego of him wanting to be the ruler of that world, but he wasn't an actual bad guy. He was just doing bad things. By definition, he would be an anti-villain. But he really didn't strike me as a bad guy. But as far as L is concerned, he is. He's murdering people. And he doesn't really truly know about Light's motives and blah, 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 all that. But he's murdering people. At the end of the day, murder is wrong. And you got to get stopped for it. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Light was smarter than L. Light is the protagonist, so we see a little bit more of him. And we're led to believe that Light is a little bit smarter than L. And I don't know if I buy that. Because here's the thing you gotta remember. Light literally just had more information than L had throughout this entire case. L was literally working off of what he had gathered himself throughout the entire case, what he had put together and what he figured out. Light had all the knowledge to start. L was going up against literal fucking magic. Like, that's not something you can really predict. It's magic, dog. No one has ever seen this shit before. You know, because Light would say things like, L, I've outsmarted you. I don't know if I would call that outsmarting. At the end of the day, he just didn't have as much information. Kira had the upper hand from the start. He's working with Shinigami, demons, and fucking magic. That's not predictable. That's not something that you can reasonably come to a conclusion about. And L was still able to figure out as much shit as he did going up against all that random bullshit. That's crazy. I think that's fucking incredible. The perfect example of this to me is the chip scene. Fam, this was one of the most beautifully directed scenes I've watched in anime. How much the scene meant, how powerful it was, how cinematic it looked. Bro is literally killing people with one hand while he's eating chips and studying with the other. Bro, that shit was fucking fantastic. That shit was awesome. It was incredible, and I wish I could watch it again for the first time. But in this scene, L is watching Light through the camera, and he's watching him study, and eat chips, right? Whole time, Light is in the bag of chips killing people and watching shit through a mini TV, and there's no way for Elle to know that. And the reason I say Kira had the upper hand in this is there is no reasonable reason that Elle would have any suspicion or any reason to believe that he was killing people with a bag of chips. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit like that. I don't know if I could call that outsmarting Elle because, bro, it's just so unreasonable. Even through all of that, Elle still, that didn't erase the suspicion from Elle. Elle was still able to make those jumps and assumptions to think, hey, I think he still is a suspect in this case, even though there's reasonable doubt that he might not be Kira, and I'm gonna remove the cameras. I'm still looking at him as a suspect because some of those things just felt a little off to me, and that's why Elle is the world's greatest detective. That shit is goated to me. I rock with Elle heavy. And I say that to say that I'm not saying that I think Elle is smarter than Light. I just don't think that Light is smarter than Elle. Light had the upper hand the entire time, and I would have liked to see a battle between them where the fields are level, but obviously we can never see that, and I love the way we got it. But I don't know, I just don't think that, Light is smarter. Personally, I don't think he's smarter. And another one of my favorite story arcs in the whole series, which I think was genius, was when Light got rid of the Death Note and lost all his memories of it. And him and Elle were literally trying to solve the case side by side as friends. That shit was cool, bro. Because up until that point, it was cool watching Elle and Kira go up against each other. But it was even cooler watching Elle and Light be friends because they genuinely did feel like friends. They have both been extremely lonely throughout their whole lives because nobody can really do shit on the same levels that they can do shit. So taking the Death Note out of it and letting them actually be able to be friends together, I thought that that was just a cool moment, bro. It was really cool seeing them work together, genuinely become friends, enjoy being around each other. I thought that that was really cool, and I love watching that whole thing of them trying to track down Kira together. And it was a power play once Light got the Death Note back again, and he was like, ah, got your ass. That shit was fire, but it was cool watching them work together. I like that a lot. And then as far as season 1 goes, I think one of the biggest mistakes in all of season 1, or I don't know if I would call it a mistake, but I think maybe having a season 2 afterwards was a mistake, was killing off Elle. I didn't like the fact that Elle died. Elle was such a big part of the story. He was the balance to Light and Kira. He was literally the other side. So losing him changed the whole trajectory of the story, and I don't feel like we even really got any good closure on it. Like, he died and then it was just up. Like, we didn't see no funeral, we didn't get no background, no nothing. And I think that that's cool because it really does show how much of a mystery Elle really is. But I don't know, it just kind of hurt a little bit. It hurt me a lot, and I think getting rid of Elle was a bad move for the story. Now we get to talk about what I think is a huge drop off. Season 2. Season 2 of Death Note feels like a really big drop off from season 1. In my opinion, I think season 1 Death Note was probably like a solid 9.5, maybe even higher than that as an anime. Season 2 was like an 8. So it was still good, but compared to season 1, it's just not, it ain't shit. It ain't shit compared to season 1. Season 1 was different. Like, they brought in Nier and Mello, and like, I didn't care about Mello at all. And then Nier just kind of felt like Diet Elle. If you guys were gonna bring in Elle replacements to try to take on that mantle of Elle, y'all might as well have just left them. Because Nier had the same cerebral ability as Elle, but Elle had a very quirky likableness to him that Nier just didn't have. And I think that that changed the dynamic of the story a lot. Because in the battles, I wasn't really rooting for Nier to win the way I was rooting for Elle to win. And in that same breath, I don't even know if I was rooting for Light to win in season 2, because Light felt so different than season 1 Light. Season 1 Light was very self-sufficient and calculated and literally had every single move mapped out. I felt like season 2 Light just felt like a whole new person. He was very trusting in a way that season 1 Light never would have been. Like in season 1, the only person that Light truly trusted was Misa, and he only trusted her because he had to. He never wanted Misa to really have to do any killings for him. He just had to use her as a tool because he had no other choice. In season 2, he was just willingly letting a lot of people into the plan and letting them do his killings and letting them do a bunch of stuff. He let Teru Mikami be Kira for a while. Misa was Kira for a while. What was that other girl's name? What was her name? What was her name? Takeda. He let her do the killings for a while, and it just didn't feel like Light anymore. He felt like a new character to me, and getting rid of L kind of threw off the balance because it made Kira a whole new person, which I didn't like as much. Like, even the whole reason he got caught was because he was trusting Mikami to handle all his killings, and he fucked around and killed the other girl, not knowing that Light didn't even want him to do that. Season 1 Light would have never let that happen. Season 1 Light would have never let some shit like that go off. But season 2 Light, I guess that's just what's going down. And then on top of that, at the very end, when he got caught and Teru Mikami wrote everybody in the room's names in the Death Note, Light said out loud, "I win." Season 1 Light wouldn't have done some shit like that. Bro, that's just careless. Yeah, he took out L, so he has a lot more confidence, but he let his ego completely override his intelligence, and that's not something that season 1 Light would have ever done. Season 1 Light would not have made a huge, blatant fumble like that. Like, I get it, he thought they were gonna die, but bro, to say, "I win," and start laughing before the shit is genuinely over, that put a nail in the coffin right there. If he didn't say that, he still could have found his way out of that situation. He could have did what he tried to do and be like, "Yo, I don't even know this dude. Near's trying to frame me." He could have got that off, but he finessed the whole shit and fumbled the bag. Like, how could you be so careless? But one thing that I did really like about the end of the second season was the fact that Ryuk was the one who ended up killing Light at the end. I like that because it showed that all this shit really was just a game and entertainment to Ryuk. Like, you know, there are points where you do feel like Ryuk is the homie and he vibing with them and, you know what I'm saying, he cool. But we do gotta remember, he is a Shinigami and all this shit to him is just entertainment. He was bored as shit and he had the ability to get some entertainment, and Light couldn't be entertaining anymore. So Ryuk had to get him up out of here. And I thought that that was a pretty good ending to the story. I like that a lot because it just reminded you of what Ryuk truly was. Like, Ryuk wasn't like that other Shinigami. He wasn't like, what, Rem, I think his name was? He wasn't like Rem. He wasn't about to fall in love with Light and save his life. Nah, none of that shit, bro. It's up for you. You're not of service to me anymore, so you gone, bro. But overall, I did like the series a lot. I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed watching season 2. Season 2 was good, but it just wasn't season 1, no. I think if they could have found a way to end season 1 and kind of like wrap up those loose ends, I think that probably would have been a better move than try to go for the season 2. Season 2 was still good though, but I just don't think it was necessary. Without, it just doesn't feel right to tell the Death Note story of Kira without L. But yo, I just finished it for the first time literally yesterday and I haven't talked to anybody about it yet. So please let me know your opinions in the comments of what you think of Death Note, what you think of my review, and let me know what anime I should watch next in review. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go with Yu Yu Hakusho, but I'm not sure yet. So yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out my podcast, go ahead, check that out. I'll link it in the bio so you guys can listen to me and the homies talk about anime. Shit is super awesome. But yo, thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all a ton, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.